Hello, hello. This is Paper Cuts Included coming to you live in a Ninja Turtle sleeping blanket, and that's how you know it's legit. Today we're going to be continuing our look at Kickass Volume 1 with Issue 3. But first, if this is your very first time checking us out, we are a comic book YouTube channel ran by me and my two co-hosts. All three of us are working artists, and we want to talk about what we love. And what we love is comics, babies. We put books like this under the microscope and really break them down, panel by panel, artist by artist, down to what pencils they're using if we can. And so if that sounds like something you're interested in, remember to subscribe, like, comment, so y'all can keep up to date with the most up and coming comic book channel in the South. So let's talk about Kick-Ass number 3. I gotta say, if you haven't watched the other two Kick-Ass videos, I highly recommend it. It's a pretty fun overview, shorter videos than what we usually do. These are about 20-minute videos, whereas I usually do about 40 minutes, I feel like. Whew, it is hot where I am filming right now. That summer heat, y'all, is no joke. Whew. But I gotta say, each issue I feel like John Romita's art's getting a little bit better, or maybe it's not his art's getting better, but his colorist is getting a little bit better of how to work with him and Tom Palmer's style, you know? Because I feel like this book has the best art out of the first three so far, and I'm really curious to see how the rest of the series shapes up near the end. Kick-Ass was one of the first comics I read on my own volition. It wasn't one that was recommended to me. It wasn't one that I heard about. I just remember the movie coming out as a kid. I wanted to read the comic, and I read it, and it's still one of my favorites. It's on my top 10, and I think it should be in the top 100 books everyone should read. Probably for, was it 6 issues Kick-Ass is? For the next 3 weeks after this, we'll be looking at it, finishing up, taking a little bit of a break, then getting into Kick-Ass 2. That's a little bit of my rant. Let's get into the book. First off, what we always do is the cover successful? And what do I mean by that? What I mean is you got to sell your book somehow, right? That is, your number. It should be a big goal as an artist. How do you sell? As much as we want to make books for free, and that's our dream, we got to sell books, or else that dream don't happen. And an easy way you can sell your books is have a good cover. If you have a good cover, people are going to stop in the comic book store, look at it, pick it up, probably buy it. But the only way to do that is have a good cover, have a very interesting cover. You know what I mean? You just have to. It's part of it. Don't do a lousy cover. If you do a lousy cover, people are going to walk past and not want it. So do something interesting. I think this cover is a 10 out of 10. I don't know how many times, if I said stuff's 10 out of 10s, maybe once or twice. I need to remember what I say is a 10 and a 9 and stuff. But I think this is a perfect cover. I think people who see this book are going to stop and look at it. This book, before I reread it, was hanging on my wall. I love this cover that much. It is incredible. It has so many great artistic elements, like even the font at the top it's getting interrupted by Dave. Just the colors are very on point. The reds, blending with the greens, the yellows. It just looks and works really well. So, if you think this is a great cover, let me know in the comments. If you think this is a weak cover, let me know. But I think this is a perfect cover and a cover people should take notes on. If you're having troubles coming up with a cover, do stuff like this. Kick-Ass is pretty good about some interesting covers. They're either really good or a little weak. So that's really good to see that kind of whole tightrope. You know what I mean? But let's get into the book finally. But no, this book's really good about having a really good previously about what the other two issues are, and this one are this book's about just a normal day guy wanting to be a superhero, and so it follows Dave Liz, I'm just gonna call him Dave. I'm sorry. Dave wasn't the class jock or the class geek. He wasn't the class clown or class genius or class anything, but he was a comic book fan. One day he put on a superhero costume and got his ass kicked. That didn't stop him though. The next time he put on the costume, he saved some guy's life. So this is taking place. He was filmed saving a guy was getting mugged, and he saved his life from these three attackers and wouldn't leave his side. And that's how a superhero event would happen. All the times you see it on the news is something similar. Like a pit bull not leaving its, hurt owner, or, stuff like that. So it very believable. It's just very well done here. that classic trope of the hero not giving up, staying behind, protecting the weak in real life. So, of course. And, I wasn't thinking I was going to like um, John Romita Jr.'s art, but I feel like each issue I like it a little bit more. It might not look stylized on first glance, but it is very stylized. It's very interesting, and it's very, I don't know, very memorable. It's very solid and good. A lot of people, I think, are going to overlook it because of how solid it is. It's not amazing technical wise like Jeff Darrow. It's not, super abstract like Dave Sinkovic, but it is, you know, very interesting. And I think a lot of people should look at this book if you don't really know where to look. You don't want to copy someone. You don't want to look at this book. I think you'll get that ball rolling, that gears rolling, and it's also a great story too. But no. So now that Dave's kind of realized that he's a little bit of a badass, he's got a little swagger, a little pep in his step. He's walking to school with that outfit under his school clothes, just kind of, he's got the world by the oyster. He's what I think he's got 1,000,000 hits. When man, in that son, now a video's not hot unless it takes 20 million hits. And even then, the next day someone else is going to make a 20 million hit video. But back then, if you got 1,000,000 hits, oh my god! I remember when like Gangnam Style getting 1,000,000 hits was like one of the biggest things ever. You know, so I just think it's a book of its time in a good way. Like, I was a little kid probably when Dave probably has 10 years on me if Dave was a real character. So it's neat to see, kind of, I guess, what my cousins grew up with, because my cousins were about that with me. But no, I love this panel. Like, his close ups of faces, for some reason, are so good in this book. I don't know if it's the mixture. I really think it's the colorist learning how to better color, you know, the work, and how to better color Tom Palmer getting more confident in his inking in this book. I think it's a combination of the three. It's just making the art better. Let me know what your thoughts on it, right? But no, and one of my favorite parts, it follows a high schooler, Dave. I read this when I was in high school, and the I guess classic joke, maybe offensive joke now. I don't know how that works anymore. Is the hottest girl in class is talking to him for once. He's asking his friend like, "How is she talking to me? Why?" And it's because she thinks he's gay, and she thinks of him as his token gay friend. And I just love it. I think it's a really cool gimmick. Um, I don't know. I feel like growing up, that was always a stick in stuff, as the gay guy wasn't gay or something like that. I'm sorry if that offends anyone. I hope it doesn't. I don't mean to offend anyone with that statement. But no, let's get. I just find it funny. It's a funny little gag that he does. It comes full circle. So, they do address it. And just really good panels too. Like, let's talk about the art, not just the story for a second. Like, the compositions are very, like, congested, but they don't feel congested when you're reading it. Because what? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 panels on 2 pages. Like, it doesn't look like a 2-page spread, but, you know, I guess it does look like a 2-page spread, but it reads really well. And I think that's a testament to how good Ramita is, changing up the perspectives, doing, much. He's really good at body language, I feel like. Doing real close ups, of what's his friend's name? His best friend, Toddy. Toddy's close up, and then a close up of Dave, but Dave's got a hand in it to break it up, make it a little bit different. If you can kind of see, Toddy never has any appendage other than his head in the panel, whereas Dave will always has a hand. I believe that's done to break up the panel, give it some motion. Don't make it a stagnant panel. You don't want stagnant panels. You want fluid. You want fluid books, books that flow really well. If you don't have that, then your people aren't going to read them. They're going to find it boring. They're going to put it down, and that's the Achilles heel. You never want someone to put down your book, although people are, because your book's not going to be everyone's cup of tea. Like how my art isn't everyone's cup of tea, and I usually go home with a car still full of original artwork. sad, sad, sad. But no, really good artwork. I love this panel. I like I said, his close up of faces in this issue is really cool, really stunning. I don't know, like I said, I think it's a combination of everyone getting a little bit better at working with each other. And I'd love to know if that's the case or if I'm just getting more in depth with the artwork, stuff like that. If you know anything, comment down below. I would love to learn. Or if you know someone who I can talk to, I would love to get him on this good old channel and just talk to him. Talk from one artist to another. That would be great. But no, from him kind of realizing what's happening, he plays it up. Like, this book's really good about being fluid, not wasting any time. These are kind of mini series, like what, volume one's maybe 6 issues, volume two's maybe 8, and maybe volume three's 8 or 10. Like, it's less than 30 issues for the whole series, so they don't waste time. It's very short but very good. It works really well too. You know. Now I'm just looking at this conversation too, doing the different, because this book, if it was done just a little bit different, would not be a good book. It would be very stagnant, very uninteresting, because a lot of this book is talking. It has great action scenes, but you gotta admit, Kickass has a lot of talking about Dave complaining about being a fanboy, which I love, but that would get old if, Romita just wasn't really good about making just dialogue very interesting. So look at this book for dialogue. If you're having trouble making just like fluid dialogue in the sense of compositional art, look at this book. I think it's a really good use of it. You know? And then another okay 2-page spread. Like, I don't know. I always crap on books when they don't really line up. They're gonna be off kilter a little bit because of the printing. It's how it is. It's my kind of old person rant, but it's a fun joke. He's, he only is a superhero. Was it? Was it on the previous page? 3 nights a week and every other Sunday. So at the most, he's only a superhero for 4 nights out of the week. I just think that's a fun joke. And then they do the classic, is he going to jump over the building? Nope. Too far, too high. Fuck it, I'm going to just walk. I think that's a hilarious joke, and I wish more and more books would take it. I feel like books do talk about it, but so jokey. And in the same issue you had now, I feel like they just jump it. Whereas this one actually has, like, this book has real world consequences. The first page in issue 1 is about a guy jumping to his death because he thinks he can fly as a comic book hero. But no. Good coloring too with the red. I like that red. But no, hopefully YouTube don't get mad at me for that. But no, so he kind of has his first little, people been texting him all over with his internet. And he's gonna go help. Now that he's got calls for adventure, he's gonna take it. He's he's been defeated, but he came back, won crazily. A million hits, thousands of followers on MySpace now. So he doesn't. He's gonna get a little bit big for his britches. And John Romita Jr. is also really good with character designs. I think I should have mentioned that before. But cousin Marv, very interesting. The little head, big body, works really well. Looks very interesting. I really love the tie element, as the bouncer. I think it's really cool. And now we get into what's his name? What's this dude's name? Is it Eddie? Yep, Eddie Lomas. Eddie Lomas and his crew. And it's a very well done kind of I don't want to call them a gang because I don't think they're gang. Just a base of operations, maybe? I don't know, an apartment, Eddie's apartment, and just really cool characters. Again, another really good close up right there. It just works really good, and the lighting works really good there too. The blues, all those tones from the TV screen just works really well right there. I always just like it when they people do that with the screen, is having that fluorescent lighting coming. I guess maybe it's not fluorescent lighting when that happens, just the screen's lighting on a face. I always give an extra couple points of awesome to when people utilize that kind of a lighting effect, and they do it really well here. But no, all the characters are different. None of them look alike. It's you can just see it in that these three goons alone. You know, like Marv and Unnamed kind of look exactly the same, but yet no, he adds a double neck. Much broader. Just testament to being a good artist and a good character artist. I feel like that's Ramita's greatest strength. I'm noticing is she's just an awesome character draw artist. Like no two of his characters are going to look alike, and I'm there for it. I can't wait to see how Kickass looks at the very last issue to see how much of a growth there is. Because what this book lasted, if it was 30 issues, then that's almost 3 years worth of 2.5 years worth of work. So of course there's going to be growth. But no, poor old Kickass gets a little too big for his britches, just thinks pepper spraying's gonna work, and he immediately gets beat up. Probably the best joke with this is Kickass always gets his ass kicked. He is not a Superman who's gonna take 1,000, bullets and walk it off. If he gets shot, he's gonna feel it, you know. So he's down for the count with one bottle of champagne bashed across his head, and I love it. It's a very grounded comic. It's very well done, you know. But no, doesn't take too long. He looks like Kick-Ass is gonna die, and who's this little girl? Just outright kills Eddie, just without hesitation. Who knows? But no, I always love it when they do a sword through a shirt too well. It works good. And then the most violent thing we've seen in this comic, which even Dave's just like, oh my god, because he just beats up people with sticks. This little girl's hacking and slashing though, without even missing a beat. Perfect. Cutting off, opening this dude's guts, and then hitting, slashing his brain open. Like, what even is this? But yet it works really good. And it's a great 2 pages of action. It's quick, it's to the point, and sometimes that's what your book needs to be. Don't drag out a fight scene for half your book. I know people in high school who all they wanted to do is like maybe a page of dialogue, and then every other page was fighting between two muscular guys, where it was abs on abs on abs. Now, that was someone being very insecure about himself. But and it's not you, Dylan. You know who I'm talking about, though. The third amigo, if you will, back then. If my co-host ever hears this. Um, yeah, hope he's doing good. I need to talk to Dylan. I need to shoot him a text. But yeah, let's get back to the book. I just sidetracked. I didn't want him to think I was talking about him. But no, just really fluid, really good, and that's what you need to sometimes do in your books, And then that's the issue. And what a great way to end a book. Who is this little girl? She just killed 2 people very brutally. What's gonna happen? A very cool design for Hit Girl too. I wish they did more of that look instead of kind of I feel like they sexualized her a little bit more than they should have in the movie. If I can remember that right, I feel like does she get with Kick-Ass at the end of the movies? I don't think I've ever seen the movie. I've seen half of it and I hated it. But let's see. What does Hit Girl look like? I just remember her being let's see. I guess no. She just has more of a, I guess I'd say maybe anime look. I don't know why I thought she would look huh. I don't know. Okay, back to the comic. That threw me for a loop. I don't know what I was thinking she'd look like, but not like how she did. But no, I love this design. I prefer it a lot. I love the oversized boots. The oversized clothes. It really reminds me of Kelly from Dark Knight Returns, and maybe that's what Ramita was going for in a way. I'm sure that he loves Miller, right? Or did love Miller. So I'm sure that, could play a role in it. But no, What a great conclusion. What a great kind of mini cliffhanger for issue 4. I think that'll means we're halfway through the series, or maybe this is the halfway mark. I don't remember how many issues Kick-Ass is. And the other issues have really good, like, original sketches. Or from sketches to inks to colored. This one, I want to check out that book. Wolverine, I have not read that series. But all this has, it has a really cool pencil sketch of the director's cut of Kick-Ass, which that'd be cool to look at if that's what that is. We're gonna have to get that then. Maybe that'll be our big conclusion after the last issue of this, as then we'll look at issue 1 and compare it to the sketches, and then a sketch of maybe the next issue, or just a panel from the next issue, because that even seems a little too violent for Marvel. But no, that is Kick-Ass number 3. It's a great book. Like I said, I think everyone should read Kick-Ass. It's great. You'll love it. I love it. So there's that. Yep. Not a whole lot to say. I keep getting more and more into John Romita Jr.'s art. I feel bad kind of crapping on it in the first issue, kind of just saying it's solid and that's it. But I feel like the more and more I read it, the more and better it gets. And maybe that's the trick he puts on people, a little spell. But we'll see. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you. It really helps it out when people stick around to the end. It keeps that darn old algorithm pumping out more and more of this video to more and more people who might like this style of content. And if you found something you like, well, I implore you to stick around, partner, because we're going to be looking at more and more books. We post Monday to Friday every week, 10 a.m. So we got more books to look at. We're going to be looking at Madman issue 3 tomorrow. And I don't know what we'll do for Friday's video yet. We usually do Frank Miller Fridays, but there's only so much Miller I can read before I want to take a little break. So this might be a break week where we look at something else that's not Miller related. But who knows? I don't know. I might look at Spawn and Batman, but I don't know. I just work here. But thanks again for watching. Found something you like, comment, like, subscribe. Really helps us out, partners. And I guess I'll send you on some way with some marching orders. Make more art.